Eric Galvez was your typical goofy, athletic 25-year-old.
And I was ready to get my life started.
This Michigan native moved to sunny San Diego to pursue his dream as a physical therapist.
I got diagnosed and it completely shocked me.
In September of 2005, doctors found a golf ball-sized brain tumor.
When I first heard the words from the doctor, it was very numbing.
The numbing feeling turned to fear as Eric underwent an 8-hour brain surgery, followed by radiation therapy.
After I got out of the hospital, was that, man, there's really nobody like me.
He now relies on crutches and a motor scooter to help him walk.
And it totally threw me off because, most of the brain tumor patients that I've met, there are people that are like my parents' age.
Selma Schimmel founded Vital Options, a nonprofit for young adults with cancer here in Studio City. She says many young adults like Eric face stereotypes and challenges specifically because of their young age.
It takes away all your sense of self-esteem and your sense of independence.
Schimmel herself is a young adult cancer survivor and has devoted her career to helping others.
And I remember when I got diagnosed and I went to a support group and I was the youngest person in the group. I couldn't relate to anything that was being talked about because these people were well over 40 and they had already lived and were living the life that I was striving to live.
Schimmel says young adults with cancer experience specific challenges that older adults might not face.
Your fertility is threatened with cancer treatment, your ability to maybe navigate your way through school, you may be forced to move back home to your parents just when you were moving out to become independent.
For Eric, his diagnosis meant losing his physical therapy career to become a physical therapy patient.
Someone like Eric, who was at the height of starting his career as a physical therapist, it is the immediate shakedown, the unraveling of dreams and a life that you have counted on.
It just scares you. It takes away all of your confidence, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to instill that sense of confidence in everybody.
Eric found his sense of confidence when he started Mass Kickers, a nonprofit support system for young adults with cancer.
Just because you got a diagnosis doesn't mean it's the end of the world.
He says Mass Kickers' main goal is to keep young patients from feeling alone.
I couldn't find a whole lot of people that were similar to me, and that's one of the reasons why I started Mass Kickers.
Schimmel also hopes to combat this isolation by bringing more awareness to young adults with cancer.
We're looking at building young adult cancer centers, so where a young adult gets treated, there is this whole supportive care area to help the young adult and to look at all the other issues and the dynamics that come into play when you're a young adult with cancer.
She says facing the unknown is many young cancer patients' biggest fear.
The biggest challenge and threat that a young adult feels, putting aside the threat of mortality, is their sense of independence and the uncertainty about their future.
But the future, Eric says, is still bright.
Life isn't over. For me it was just beginning.
He now travels across the country sharing his story with physical therapy students.
For me, my world is just starting, I think.
A world full of hope and happiness. Reporting from San Diego, Emily Shapiro.